This is Fraud to Fearless,
where we inspire dreamers to overcome imposter syndrome, embrace their authentic selves, and learn how to harness your brand to build a path to success.
I'm Brooke.
And I'm Hayden, and we're your hosts.
Welcome to the show. Friends, welcome to the season finale of Fraud to Fearless. Wow. Can you believe that we've reached the end of the season already? 17 episodes, Hayden. 17 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really feel real, and it does all at the same time. But 17 and counting.
17 and counting. So if you're listening, and whether this is your first episode or your 17th, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with us. Thank you for listening, subscribing, commenting, sending all of your messages. It has been so fun to get to know you better and to take you with us on this journey. So,
yeah. I mean, Brooke, it's been really humbling. We've had over 20 countries listening to the pod, from students to early career, mid-career professionals to folks that are approaching retirement. Like, that's where this gets real, right? That's where this is like, this voice is a flame that's only going to grow, right? And the light that is being shown on this topic and how important it is. And I think if we had to theme up our first 17 episodes, really the takeaway, right, is identity, right? Discovery, talking about that fraud piece, because, you know, the whole reason why Brooke and I started this journey was because we felt everybody experiences this and no one talks about it. And so we want to change that. And so season 1, Brooke and I are coining it, our first 17 episodes. Season 1 was all right, guys, let's start talking about it, because it's new, maybe foreign, maybe it's hard for people, right? Because in life today, it's all about strength. It's all about the grass is greener. It's all about only showing the best, right? Social media. You show the great picture, the highlight reel. Like, yeah, I climbed this awesome mountain in Norway, and like I'm hanging on the cliff, but then there's like the ground right below your feet. It's like, that's what life has become. And there's a messy middle and a gray area, which is the majority of life. And that's the two, right? It's the fraud to fearless. And I think that we're not comfortable talking about, hey, I'm not doing great. I'm struggling. I want something different and I don't know how to do it. And so season 1, the theme, Brooke, was really identity. Let's start talking about it. It's awkward. It's hard. We don't really know what's happening, but we're going to start talking about it. But what we're really excited about is season 2 is going to be big, epic. We got huge things in the hopper that we can't wait to talk about, for you all to listen. And we got huge things coming that we're excited about.
Yeah, I love this. I think the biggest piece for me has just been getting back to authenticity. If we actually can bust through this fraud feeling, it really is coming down to allowing ourselves to be seen in all areas. And I think the reason why I felt called to do this podcast with you, Hayden, is because I know what it feels to look and be successful on the outside and really feel like I wasn't, and have evidence against that on the inside. And so the freeing piece, we're going to break out of that internal struggle, as you said, and let's get real. Let's be authentic. Let's be seen in the messy middle. I'm so excited for season 2. It's good. It's going to be more aligned. We've learned so much in this last season, starting the podcast, everything. There's good stuff coming.
at this point now, our number one episode is the fixed mindset trap. That's the most listened to episode. So if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it, but also go listen to the other ones because they're also good. But Brooke, I think one thing that you and I have done a really great job of is really treating this podcast with a growth mindset. We're never going to arrive. It's not about the destination. It's the journey. It's the two. It's not about getting to fearless. We'll never get there fully. It's about the two. But we've learned so much. It's been such a privilege to do this with you. I'm having so much fun. And I just feel empowered. And I just feel like it's really cool to sit here ending season 1 and have, like, look, you and I have a little bit of an idea of what season 2 is, but those that are listening don't. But even you and I, Brooke, we don't know exactly where this is going to go. And that can be scary for a lot of people, right? Whether you're thinking about your career or your business or your family or your relationships, it's hard. Look, I'm just over 3 weeks of being a dad for the first time. My little girl was born on April 1st, literally came out of Prankster on April Fool's. And just the past 3.5 weeks has been so humbling of what it means to be a parent for the first time, what it means to be a husband to a wife with a newborn, with 2 puppies and friends and family and in-laws and aunts and uncles, everyone wanting to meet her and how to navigate that. But you also got to mow the lawn. You got to take the trash out. You got to do the podcast, right? And it's just been, but when I think about parenting, it's just so cool to think about, if I could skip ahead 5 years, what would my life look like? What would Aubrey, my daughter, be like? 10 years, 15 years? What's her personality going to be like? Where's she going to go to school? And it's really cool. That's what's beautiful about life, right? Is that we don't know the future. And it could take so many different forms. And so it's like, whether that's parenting, whether that's, some aspect of your life, but that's how I'm viewing the pod, Brooke, is that we can really take this anywhere we want. And when we started this journey, y'all, before we had the name, before we had the logo, Brooke and I, we wanted to do this our way. And so far we've done that. And in order to make sure that Brooke and I put each other first through this journey, right? Because businesses, podcasts, the band can break up, right? And there can be resentment and animosity, and there can be a breakup of bands and podcasts and everything. But Brooke and I wrote our non-negotiables. It was one of the first exercises that we did when we started on this journey. And both of us wrote this down as one of our top things, but we're going to put each other first. So if ever this doesn't feel like fun or we're not enjoying this together, then we'll stop. And I am really proud of that. And so what we want to do is, we've been reflecting and we've been in the lab and we are cooking up some huge stuff for season 2 of the pod. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. The guests are going to give insights that you won't believe. And we are ready to continue to evolve what the Fraud to Fearless journey means. And we want to evolve, Brooke. I think this is really a big piece because it's not just us changing the episodes. I think it's also evolving how you all interact with the content and how you can use the content to up-level your life and transform where you're going with us as part of the journey. That's where we're going. We don't just want to sit here and talk into the microphones about this crap. Let's get better together. And let's start doing that today. And that's a sneak peek preview of what's coming in season 2. I'm pumped.
I love it, Hayden. You're so good. I think just like we said at the beginning, we can turn into walking motivational speeches. But what we really want to create, and a value that we both have, is impact. We want to create movement, actual tools and things that can be utilized, and not just in your job, but in your life. And so we want to touch on the real struggles that are apparent in all of our lives, but are not blatantly talked about. For example, if you're stuck in the cycle of waking up, going to your job, doing something that you don't love, scrolling through social media on your lunch breaks, coming home, binging Netflix, crashing into bed and then doing it all over again.
You need to listen to this.
This is why we are here. We want you to be living a fearless life. And a fearless life is not always a comfortable life. In fact, I don't think it's ever a comfortable life, but it's a fulfilling life. So we're going to get into the details of the real things that we experience. All of us as a human family, we're experiencing these things together. How can we break out of it? How can we find fulfillment in every aspect of our life?
Yeah. I think look, in season 1, we gave a lot of tools. And season 2, it's going to be more about putting it together and acting. I love, Brooke, that you said it's about motion, movement. It's about, even our name has motion. It has movement. 2, we're going somewhere. We're going to Fearless together. Brooke, maybe as we wrap up here, look, normally we end an episode with 1 or 2 takeaways from the episode. Let's end season 1 with a bang. What's your 1 or 2? Let's just do 1. What is your 1 biggest learning from all of the 17 episodes that we did in season 1?
You know, perfection is a lie. Like, I've had so much feedback from the people that are on the back end looking at the editing, looking at all the stuff. In the beginning, I had such a tight hold on, man, like, this has got to be perfect. And isn't that, it's so counterintuitive, because it's literally, in order to actually impact other people, you have to be real. You have to be raw. You have to say, this is the real me. That's actually how you help people. And so you guys hearing the imperfections of all of it has been so hard for me to let go of that piece, but has been so healing at the same time. It's like I'm literally learning this at a deeper level than ever before. And the fraud screams, right? But we jump, we keep going and letting go, you've been awesome. Hayden's so great, because he's like, I keep telling him, I'm like, I need to be fired from the editing. I think multiple people.
She has been fired now, y'all. She has been I've fired Brooke from editing officially. So that is a done decision.
It's just so good the movement and the growth happens in letting go of the perfection. And I want to connect with people and show them who I really am, imperfections and all.
Yeah, that was extremely pure, and I think it's perfect for your big takeaway. For those of you listening or watching on YouTube, I'm going to make fun of Brooke a little bit here. So Brooke is, again, communications background. She was the best presenter by far in our cohort. But Brooke's, in a previous episode, we talked about your Olympic event. Brooke's Olympic event is, seriously, I've said this in a previous episode, but if you get an opportunity to listen to Brooke present, whether it's, in Steward of My Life or in Fraud to Fearless, or whenever she's going to be flown out to these big companies and big, people pay her to come and talk, or at the conference, whatever. She is so good at structuring content, telling a story, designing slides. That's her Olympic event. What's been awesome for me to experience as her partner and co-host here is what has been a learning opportunity for her over these past 17 episodes is going with the flow, which is more my Olympic event. I love winging it. And Brooke, the first episode, Brooke, we should go back and share, we literally wrote down every single question and color coded it to be Hayden says this, Brooke says this. And then y'all, now we're at the point where we have a meeting before, and then, do team prayer before we record. And then it's about ideas and talking about ideas, and then sharing insight and kind of vibing off each other. So that's the movement piece. So anyway, it's been so cool, Brooke, for me to see you, you develop in that area of You don't need to be perfect. Like this podcast, we should not be perfect because that's not what we're selling. That's not who we're trying to talk to. That's not what we're trying to inspire. And you've done a great job. So I'm looking forward to continuing to watch that evolve in season 2.
Thanks, Aiden. Okay, let's hear it. What's been your biggest takeaway?
I get the benefit of going second, so I got to think a little bit. I think I'm going to say I have 2 pieces. One, very, very quickly, the Lindsay episode, y'all. Lindsay is like soul of the earth. I literally met her recording on a podcast, which I can't imagine tons of people, unless they have their own podcast, go through that experience. But to meet someone literally 5 minutes before you start recording on a podcast and then your like souls talk to each other. Wow. Such a powerful, just raw, emotional experience. And as I was reflecting and again, talking about being 3.5 weeks into being a dad, Lindsay talked about a very powerful story about her mom telling her, you know, tall is beautiful, shoulders back. Don't slouch, baby. Like tall is beautiful, shoulders back. And I really love that saying, and go back and listen. It's so powerful. But Brooke, what I've been reflecting on when you were saying your favorite part is we can replace tall. The point of that quote is not that Lindsay was tall at a 12-year-old and her mom was teaching her that she needs to be proud of being tall. It's that you are beautiful. And I think we live in a world where if our body doesn't look the right way, or if we're not our personality, if we're not the funniest person, then we just beat ourselves up. And it's just mean. It can be a very mean world and nasty, and we beat each other up and we beat ourselves up sometimes so hard. And that episode just spoke to me. I'm tearing up right now.
You're gonna make me cry.
That's fine. That's part of it, right? We want the raw stuff, but I think that if you listen to that and you hear the story of Lindsay is saying that tall is beautiful, I'd challenge you to go back and replace tall with whatever it is that you are. And you are beautiful. So shoulders back, whatever that is for you. And I'm still learning that about me. I think we all are learning that about each other. But again, going into being a dad, like I have to teach my daughter how to view herself. And if I can't even do it for me, how can I be a hypocrite and tell her to do it? So that's one lesson, really powerful one that really spoke to, again, I felt like when Lindsay was on, I felt like our souls talked to each other. And then the second one comes from Sharon. I got to give Sharon a shout out here, but Sharon just taught me that when we think about fear of failure, it's really our reputation that's at stake, not our identity. And I think if I put those 2 lessons together, you know, you are beautiful, shoulders back, but you can change and you can grow and you can develop. You are not the person that you're always going to be today. You can transform, you can evolve, you can get better, but you are beautiful. And you is going to continue to get better, and let's get better together. And I just love this, that if you make a mistake, you don't suck. It's just your reputation that's at stake that you can change. Your identity is something that no one can take from you. And so don't beat yourself up so much, and recognize that in this world, in this sometimes really lonely and nasty place, give yourself some grace.
Man, we just got to close the episode out right there. This is so touching. You know, as you were talking and thinking about how we're doing some behind the scenes for what's to come and the excitement that brings to try to bless other people's lives that have struggled or struggling like we have. There's this thing that I learned years ago, and it was while I was doing all different kinds of therapy, because we brought up Lindsay. and it's called rejection therapy. And we're talking about movement, taking action. I want to share a simple concept, and it's an idea about rejection is a gift. I think a lot of the reasons why we don't move in our lives is because of the fear of rejection and how that hurts us, our ego, our identity that we focus so much on in season 1. And so there's this concept that I learned called rejection therapy. And I remember hearing this story, but basically the idea was that this therapist challenged the person that he was consulting to go out and get rejected as much as possible. And the guy's like, bro, I do not want to get rejected. Like, I'm trying to fix the pain in my life. You're telling me to go out and try to get rejected as much as possible. And he's like, I promise you that if you can understand that rejection is a gift, it will change your life. So this guy's like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it for X amount of time and see if it works. So every Tuesday was his rejection therapy day. And he's like, my goal is to go out and see how many times I can get rejected on a Tuesday. Like, my goal is to get rejected. If I get rejected, that's a win. And I mark it down, like tally mark. Yep. Let's see if we can get rejected even more. So just crazy funny stories, like going to, I don't know. I'm thinking like going and asking for a free meal at a restaurant or whatever it is, something that you would think someone would just blatantly say no. And what he started realizing is that as he'd go out and try to do these things that he was like, this for sure will get me rejected, then he actually was accepted, or people would give him the free meal or, the raise or whatever else. So I shared this concept with a few friends on New Year's Eve. And I'd love to do a challenge with this, Hayden, like an official thing. And obviously you want to be safe. Like, we're not talking about extremes here, but can we reflect on, as we are ramping up for the next season, what is this next season going to look like for you? That you have a chance to look at yourself and say, what's holding me back from the next season of my life? What things am I so afraid of? How can I face those? And be willing to be rejected despite the pain, despite the fear.
Powerful story. Powerful tool. I think, Brooke, you just publicly called me out on a podcast to do challenges against each other. So, hey, look, season 2, it sounds like, y'all, is going to have a rejection contest of Brooke v. Hayden, who got rejected better. We might even do a 10-day fast. Who knows what season 2 is going to bring? But Brooke, I think that's such a powerful tool. And I think we should use that, right? Because, you miss all the shots you don't take, right? So shoot and keep shooting. So, all right, y'all. For now, that is season 1 of the Fraud to Fearless podcast. And for now, y'all, that's the pod.